Make up your mind. What? No. It's a black screen. Oh. What? It's a disgusting sight. Oh, crap. I just avoided that thing. Like a pro. Like a pro. Crap! I'm gonna try and get rid of Shinji here. Yeah, multi-kill. Eat that. Eat that, yo.
Yeah, we'd like catch, like as kids, we'd catch them and like keep them in like a little fish tank with dirt.
No, you will not take me. Oh, are you kidding me? I got out of the way. I totally got out of the way. Wait a minute, I did not create a character in Tonberry. I created a character in Kujata. What the? Let's finish him off. Come on, come on, come on. Finish him off. Finish him off. Gotcha. Now what? What am I looking for? I'm looking for... What the heck? What's that? Rubber banding at its best. This is probably gonna go into like the highlight reel. Greetings ladies and gentlemen, Adrian here. Welcome back to the channel and to leveling stream number 6, the penultimate stream for my Rift Prime new player review. I'm about to hit level 50. I am 92% away, as you can see in the ad on the top right and my bar down there. I've even maxed out the rested XP bar, so I am super duper close, and I'm kind of excited because there's a lot to do, there's a lot to check out, and oh, good morning. Yes, this is one of those rare occasions where I'm actually streaming in the morning for me, which I hardly ever do because work, unfortunately. And yeah, it says Western Tour in the title because, you know, I don't do this often, so it's a chance for me to say hi, hopefully live, to a whole bunch of you folks in the West that don't get to catch, you know, the live streams or whatever, because unfortunately where I'm at, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, I stream at 9 p.m. my time, so that means a lot of the EU folks would catch me near their prime time, and other parts of the world. So I suppose, you know, it's about time I make up to you folks in the West and Australia as well. You guys are, when I stream, it's pretty late for y'all. Just checking the chat. I see that moving over there. We got Wiga in chat. Good morning, Wiga. Finally, you get to catch the stream on a time when, you know, it's probably dinner for you, or nearing dinner. We got Valken and Jazz. It's the leveling stream after the spicy vlog. I will address that vlog in a bit because there are people who have taken that, you know, to different proportions, and I do need to address some of the things I said in there. We'll get to that shortly, I promise. We got Patrick Liba in chat. Hello, Patrick. I've seen you around. He said 3:35 a.m. in the EU. Man, you're up late. And it is a weekday. It's Thursday. And really, for me, my writing assignments, I completed them early today, and my next one comes in after lunch. So I've got about 3-4 hours before, you know, the next part of my workday starts. So I thought, why the hell not? Let's just go ahead and stream in the morning and let's move this along. We got OtterTheAuthor in chat. It says, evening, Adrian. Good evening to you, OtterTheAuthor. Good to see you. Long time no see, man. How you doing? What have you been playing? Wiga says, I probably won't fall asleep during this stream. Hopefully it's not too boring, because I'm gonna be explaining a lot of different things once I hit level 50. For example, I'm gonna be showing players, or especially new players that are currently leveling to level 50, which vendors do you want to go and look at in terms of the level 50 gear and what you need to get when you hit 50. Because once you hit 50, more things start to unlock. You got expert dungeons, which is probably the first tier of stuff that you want to do, because there's going to be 3 different levels of endgame gear that you want to get. You got the normal blues, and then you got the tier 1s, and then you got the raid gear itself. So all those vendors and stuff, I will be going and taking a look at that. But my main priority for now is let's ding 50. I want to get that on stream, and yeah, it's kind of odd for me too, guys, because, you know, the window, look, sunlight. So I will stream at night, so okay. Anyway, my bank, that's the guild bank right there. I don't want to touch anything, so say hello to my bank. It is, of course, a mess, and the thing about Rift's vaults or bank system, which I don't think I've shown before in any of the past 5 streams, because it's always been about leveling, and hardcore leveling, is that you are given 1 vault free, and I believe you can unlock the second one as well. Let's see how much that costs. 10 planarite. So by the time you are near my level or above level 40, you may be in the hundreds of planarite already. So you should be able to afford unlocking a second vault, and you probably want to, because if you're getting to crafting, which is another thing that I haven't showed off yet, so there's more, you know, opportunity for content here where you can check out the crafting as well. You're gonna be hogging a lot of the materials like I am here. I am a forager and a miner, so in my bank there's a lot of these ore and tin bars and whatever, in addition to all these logs and plants and stuff that's gonna be important later on. So I'm just hogging stuff here. Let me just clear a little bit of my bags, and then we'll go and get that XP. Yeah, lots of vendor trash that I should probably sell to. Yeah, this reinforces the point that I am a bum, and I really need to work on cleaning things up. Okay, next order of the day is for those of you that were playing Rift Prime when the Trove of Mounts, those daily presents, got affected. Which is, if you go over here, daily rewards calendar, this thing, you know, the last one of the month, usually on the 21st or whatever, depending on when you started playing Rift Prime. This one got bugged out a couple of weeks ago, or last week, so people who got to this particular day, which you should, because they give out all these rare looking, cool looking mounts, it got bugged, so a lot of people couldn't open it until Wednesday last week. And to compensate for that, they have given everybody a free Trove of Mounts box that you can claim from the store right now for free. So that's 21 days of work free that they're giving you. All you gotta do is open up the store and claim that. So let's go ahead and do that. Hopefully it's a nice looking mount. One of the issues last week was that people were getting duplicates, and Try and World just come on and said that this Trove of Mount box here is not supposed to put out duplicates. It doesn't work that way. So eventually, the longer you play, the more your mount collection will grow. So let's go ahead and open this and see what we get. I got an Ash Strider. That's it right there, and I actually have this on the live version since 2013, so it's a very common mount. Kind of a bummer. I'm just gonna replace the squirrel real quick just to show you guys what the Ash Strider looks like. Fairly common mount, I'd say, the raptor looking thing, and I think a lot of people are using that too. So thanks, I suppose, Tryon, for the free Trove mounts. Giving me a mount that I'll probably never use. I'm going back to my Dread Keyrin because it's still one of the rarest mounts. You have to do the Iron Tomb to get that, or buy that off the auction house. Alright, let's check it in chat here before I move on. Oddnut says, it's been a while indeed, not been doing much actually. Spent most of my time role-playing on Star Wars The Old Republic. Looking for a new game though, may come back to Rift Live for a while. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Role-playing on Star Wars, huh? So, which server are you on again? Probably one of the EU servers. Like, role-playing on Star Wars was huge, because it's the, ever since Galaxies died, you know, SWTOR is one of the only avenues left for you to get on and, you know, role-play. Of course, there's still emulators and stuff for Galaxies, so. Yeah, speaking of which, you know, everybody else in chat, Wigga, what are you playing these days? Patrick Liba, Valican, what are you guys up to? So now, here's what I'm gonna do to get those XP. Two things. Preferably I want to hit 15 PvP, because, you know, when I zoom in into myself as a player on a larger scale, I think dinging 15 PvP would be ideal for me, because out of all the activities in Rift so far, PvP has been fun in terms of what I like to do in this game, and it has also been, you know, frustrating. But that's what happens in PvP usually. You take it or leave it. And then once I ding 50, we'll also jump into PvP and see if those claims about level 50 PvP being broken as hell in terms of, you know, the heal stacking, the trading of wins, and all this stuff. The only way to find out is to jump in. So my plan of attack for XP is do any of the zone events that pops up, but I'm also going to be going over to the Defiant zones and doing Carnage quests. Kind of boring, kill quests, but those actually give you some XP that's going to be really valuable. Like, I remember going back to Gloamwood, which is the level 20 to 26 zone here, for an event, and moving over to a Rift, I just, you know, tabbed on a landscape mob, and they do have a dot by their name, which means that they will drop a Carnage quest. I'm like, oh crap, I missed a Carnage. I completed that, and that gave me 14,000 XP. At level 49, 14,000 XP is really, really good. So that means in these two zones, Free March and Stonefield, there's going to be a bunch of Defiant Faction Carnages that I have not bumped into yet, because as a Guardian, you don't usually come here. So I'm going to go there behind enemy lines and get XP that way, because... Come on, let's roleplay a bit. A Guardian going to Defiant Zone to get XP and leveling up there. Damn. So let's go ahead and do that. I think I have, yep, I have a portcullis unlocked here in Granite Falls. Again, Stonefield, this is a Guardian, sorry, this is a Defiant Faction area, so I don't think Guardians will have quests here, but the Carnages are still up for grabs. So let's go ahead and hit the portal. Alright, check it in chat. Oddnot says, oh man, you got the squirrel mount. Been eyeing that for years, but couldn't ever afford it. The squirrel mount. Oh, that squirrel mount. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, this was my first ever mount that dropped from the month, my first month here on Prime. And a lot of people like it, obviously, for reasons, because it is one of the more unique ones. I mean, the clash of things here. I mean, it's a squirrel, but it's an armored squirrel. Now say that out loud and you'll begin to see how absurd that sounds, because it is an armored squirrel. There's another person with this exact same squirrel. They do drop in different colors too. I think there's a black one, which is obviously the one I want. It's my color scheme. This one's been pretty popular too. This is the red fox. I forgot what it was called. But a lot of people have been eyeing that. That is one of the most expensive mounts if you check on the auction house. But yeah, so this squirrel, honestly, I don't use it a lot. I use the Dread Kieran more than anything else. Okay, behind enemy lines we go. As soon as I get there, if I'm anywhere near a Defiant guard, because you know they do have all these NPC guards, and because open world PvP could be a thing if you flag for PvP. So if there's Guardians coming out and trying to harass Defiant leveling players or whatever, obviously there's going to be guards to kill and it's going to harass the Guardian player and whatever. So in that regard, for me, going over here, if I do jump into some Defiant guards, I'm going to get attacked on sight. So I have to be careful about, you know, moving around. But I do think I picked up one of those Carnage quests in Stonefield too. So here I am. These portal masters usually are neutral, so they don't really attack, but on the minimap you'll see this is a Defiant foothold, so all these NPCs can be attacked, and over there's going to be Defiant guards. That's this is level 23 with 13,000 health. Actually, I could probably take them on, but I don't want to. I don't want to give the impression that I'm here looking for trouble. I'm just here to grab some Carnage quests. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. This is Stonefield. There we go. I have a Carnage here, level 24, and well, this is only 10,000, but XP still XP. So if I clear like what 10, what do I need? I'm about 90,000 XP away, so that's probably 10 Carnages and a couple of PvP matches, or if I win a few PvP matches, ding. And let's go do some Carnages, folks. All right, now back to the chat. Oddnot says Darth Malgus, and Valkan says I'm just gathering in BDO. I usually watch the old stream, so it's nice to catch you live. Yeah, again, this is one of those rare moments, guys, and you know what? It's all because of scheduling. You know, where I'm at in the world, and during the morning for me, it's hardly ideal to stream because my job involves being, you know, working in the morning and everything. So getting a stream in the morning could be a thing. I just need to move things around. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do it, but you know, it's always nice if I could just fit in a stream time that's gonna be ideal for everybody, but it's just so hard. Alright, so this is an example of mobs that will give you Carnage quests, because he does have that dot thing beside his nameplate. So all you gotta do is hover over it and it'll say Carnage minor complication. And again, this is in the opposite factions zone. So if you find yourself struggling for XP. Regardless of what level you are, you can always go to these zones and pick up and finish up all the Carnage quests that you probably missed. And a good way to do that is either you open up a browser and check out the Rift. I forgot the name of this website, but it's a great database for all the different quests in Rift. Or you can get an in-game add-on like the one I have here, top left. You just click on that, Completionists, and it's going to just tell you what all the quests in this current zone you haven't completed are, and then you click on some of them will actually give you the coordinates. So all you gotta do is just set the waypoint and type in the coordinates, and you can go find that quest. Pretty helpful so far. I mean, I'm not gonna do everything, I'm just gonna do enough to ding, and then we'll go do some fun stuff. But yeah, Valken said stream rates are my stream bit rates are too high. Let me just set that a bit lower, because the thing with internet in my country is Valencia, and there's a couple of people in my Discord saying about, you know, how the desert is completely changing things, because you could get a heat stroke in the desert if you get lost and you don't replenish a couple of stuff, which I thought was pretty interesting. I'm like, wow, I did not know BDO would get that realistic, and I'm nowhere near going in there, obviously, because of I still haven't hit the SOP capped on Black Desert Online, which is level 56. So yeah. Wiga says, been bouncing between Diablo 3 and Guild Wars 2. Pretty much decided I'm done with Lord of the Rings Online until new instances are out. Some context, you guys may have seen Wiga around, you know, she's a long time friend of mine from the Lord of the Rings Online. We did a lot of stuff back in the day, so whenever there's like Lotro type videos or streams, like last year's 10-year anniversary, I usually bring Wiga into the conversation and get her thoughts and opinions and everything. And for her to say that, honestly, for her to say that she's kind of done with Lotro until new stuff comes out, it's pretty shocking, you know, because she's pretty much the hardcore raider person. So I don't know if update 22 Northern Mirkwood came with any instances or not, but I hear you. Let's hope they do add some more group stuff. Well, you can always jump back into PvP, Mega, or PvMP. Try and rebuild that the Cooper folks that we had. I mean, that could be fun. Long shot though, but it's still something. Patrick says, I'm doing farming content in World of Warcraft and beta testing in Battle for Azeroth. Ooh, August, right? Battle for Azeroth. So I've got some really interesting content planned for World of Warcraft in the coming month, which revolves around discussing BFA and talking about World of Warcraft in general. It's for a new series that I'm kind of brainstorming on my channel, and it's about community. So I can't wait for you guys, especially you WoW players, to see what's in store there, because, and hopefully I can bring some of you guys along. I mean, if you do have a microphone and if you are on my Discord, then in the future, you know, I could be talking to you, interviewing you as a current WoW player. And it's not just for World of Warcraft, this series that I'm kind of brainstorming right now. It's for all the MMOs out there. So I will share more information about that when it's ready. But for now, I just want you guys to know that the first episode of that new series is going to revolve around World of Warcraft. Oddnot says, lore kind of depends on which type of role player you are. I personally use lore from all parts of the spectrum. Canon, fanon. Canon, I know. Fanon is a new word for me. What is that? Fan created fandom? Yeah, I'm not much of a role player. I guess you can tell. It says, I personally use lore from all parts. As long as it works and it is not OP, it should be alright. I mean, my role-playing experience is very, very limited, but I see what you mean. You know, when... this is gonna sound so odd, but we know, as a role player, some people tend to think that, oh, like Lord of the Rings, for example, Lord of the Rings Online, on Landreval, you know, I checked out the role-playing scene and everything, and then you get people with really fleshed-out backstories that are appropriate to the world and slowly builds up their character. Nothing too out there. For example, oh, I'm Aragorn's cousin, and you know, he did not mention me in his whatever, but I am a Dunedain, and yeah, I'm also related to Elrond, you know, that kind of thing. I mean, if it's not too far-fetched, then I suppose that's acceptable in the community. But is that what you mean by OP? Anat says, oh, you got into beta. Congrats. How hard is it to get into the Battle for Azeroth beta? Is it something that you get picked for randomly, or do you have to sign up for it, or how does that work? I mean, I've been getting a lot of emails from Blizzard, but it's nothing about World of Warcraft or the beta or anything. Onan says, on Rift, I roleplay a druid fighting for and with nature a forced warden, so a squirrel mount would be badass. And Patrick says, I do not more abilities on GCD. I understand if you are some and classes feel something lacking without artifact weapons. Have to wait. We will get in state of that. Okay, that's some feedback from beta right now, and obviously the thing with beta is it is always subject to change. So somebody, there's a guy, a fellow subscriber, really nice bloke. I think his name's Graspy. Yeah, I think it's Graspy, or I can't remember, Professor Cake, and one of them have been saying that, you know, with where World of Warcraft is in terms of its current combat system in the beta, they have kind of slowed things down a little bit. That's what they told me, and I'm not sure if that is a reflection of what you're saying in chat, Patrick, but if that's the case, how do you feel about that? For me, when I reviewed World of Warcraft December all the way to February, I thought the combat system, especially where it's at right now, kind of seemed just nice. Like, it wasn't too slow, it wasn't too fast, it was... What's the right word? It just felt right to me. Maybe that's because that's the only version of WoW's combat system I've ever known, because I've only been playing from December to, you know, right now. So I'm not sure if that is a good thing or a bad thing. So for those of you that have played WoW, hey, feel free to share your thoughts. Wiga says, update 22 for Lotro did not come with instances, but from what I hear, update 23, which will be on Bull Roarer, which is the PTS for Lotro, soon will have some 3-mans and 6-mans. I guess it's not too bad. I mean, I don't expect Standing Stone Games to be putting out raids as quickly as they can. I mean, good enough, I guess they are bringing back raiding to Lord of the Rings Online, which, you know, we like bringing up this story. In all fairness, you know, the previous community manager was a very nice guy. It's just that I think he was put in between a rock and a hard place when it comes to addressing Lotro and the community issues. And he unfortunately went out by saying that, you know, raiding is not ever going to be popular or something that the community wants, which is absolutely not true, because when the raids came back, you know, the player base got back to Lotro too. So okay, one more watcher, and that would be, I would be done with 2 of these carnages here. And then I guess I'll talk about the vlog, the Rift Prime vlog, which some people have been talking to me about. Not on the comment section, but because my name is on stream for all to see, I'm probably on some people's lists where, you know, you can send me tells and whispers and tell me exactly how you feel without the very public space, which is YouTube. Okay, so that's 2 carnages done. Let's go ahead and turn these in. This is 10,500 XP. And the second one is also 10,000. So that leaves me with about, oh, pretty close, I suppose. Let me just refresh my UI there. Reload UI. Because the add-on takes a while to, you know, show the XP thing. 94%. I'm guessing a couple more carnages, and let's start queuing up for some Warfronts and see if we can ding with a win. That'll be the sweetest, the most ideal way to ding for me. Alright, Oddnot says, yes, the Star Wars fandom. Nice. I mean, I have not, like, looked into what Star Wars players do in terms of how they create their fandoms and everything, but Star Wars is just one of those franchises, you know, one of those IPs that you can absolutely go crazy with, because the official lore and everything, or the depth and scope of what's out there for players and fans to consume is just so huge that obviously players and fans of the series are going to come up with their own fandom and everything, which is really, really cool. Awesome stuff. Patrick says they just added a global cooldown on damage buff abilities. And again, we're talking about World of Warcraft here. To prevent you from stacking them and kill someone in one global cooldown equals PvP change, but some abilities which I consider as reactionary were added too, though behind it was you. Oh, you have to choose what you will do. For example, heal tank on low HP, and you are standing in a fire, move from it, and be locked in a global cooldown, so you cannot do both at the same time. That sounds like some really interesting changes coming to World of Warcraft in that regard. So I guess it's more catered towards like the PvP community. I mean, I can see how that it'll affect in dungeons too. So what you're saying is, you know, if you're standing in the shit, or if your understanding of the dungeons and the fight is very limited, or you're doing it for the first time, you may struggle with all these stuff that you're talking about. Interesting. Hey, we got Dixa1 in chat. What up, Dixa? Dixa just left a comment earlier today, and I was like, that sounds so familiar. So I went back and I watched some of the recording that I usually do when I review a game. I take a lot of in-game footage. Ooh, artifact. A lot of in-game footage, so that when I do come up with the review, you know, I've got a bank of videos to choose and pick from. And I saw Dixa there, I'm like, oh yeah. Because the way that Prime is right now, at certain level brackets, you know, when you queue for random dungeons, you're probably going to be running dungeons with the same people over and over again, especially if you guys share like a certain time zone or something like that. So I've seen Dixa around a lot. So Dixa says, are you a guardian or a filthy defiant? I'm a guardian, currently behind enemy lines in a filthy defiant zone, just doing random carnages that pop up wherever I go for the XP. I suppose I should go to where I know the portcullis is. So I'm going to be passing by. This is one of the main hubs for Defiance. This is where you go to pick up a bunch of quests and do some crafting. And there's even a daily quest in here. Oh shit, guard! Run! And like I said, I could probably kill him, but I don't want to give the impression that I'm up to no good for anybody else in the zone, which is oddly empty. This is the level 20 to 26 area for the Defiant. And obviously, being a guardian, I cannot use all their PvP vendors and stuff, because in our own zone, we do have our own. So let's head up to the cemetery here, and I've been here before, obviously, because the second class slot that I had, I made a Defiant Rogue, which has now been deleted. So I do know where some of the Carnages are, so I believe this one's going to give me a Carnage. Yep, there we go. Kill 8 Nefarious Spirits in the Harrow for about 10,000 XP or something like that. Awesome. Let's kill ya. I don't even need to put down my Bacon of Despair. And again, for those that don't know, I'm calling it Bacon because I seem to have problem pronouncing the word beacon, and every time I say it real fast, it ends up sounding like bacon anyway, so I'm going to call it the Bacon of Despair. So in the early level zones, when you go back as a higher level, or you get mentored down, obviously you have more mitigations in the way of endurance and health and all that stuff, so you can face tank a lot of these landscape mobs, but you know, don't underestimate some of them, especially when you go back and you do all those low level zone events or whatever. They can still hit pretty hard. Okay. Dixa says the WoW veterans are saying they don't really feel the global cooldown change, which is, I suppose, I mean, when you're looking at it from the outside, you kind of expect that, especially if you've been used to something for so long, and then all of a sudden, the change. I'm just trying to understand where Blizzard's coming from. Like, why was this change necessary? Was it a huge thing in PvP, or was PvP becoming sort of an issue with that, and they just felt like they had to do something to show the community that they are changing stuff around? I mean, it's still on PDS, right? So that means it still has a chance to change. See, that's the thing. I've only played World of Warcraft, or started to play World of Warcraft in December for the review, so I don't necessarily know Blizzard's track record of listening to the player base as a studio and implementing the changes that are either popular or not popular. I don't know how they operate in that regard, so it'll be interesting to hear and watch these developments from the outside just before jumping in back in for the Battle for Azeroth expansion. Dixa also says, yes, I go by Dixa in game. And Patrick says, no one who understands it likes it. It is slowing us. And I guess that's the key word there, you know, slowing it down. See, one of the things, I remember talking to somebody about this, you know, when I first decided I was going to jump into Rift Prime. I think somebody preempted me that, you know, Rift is going to be very slow in terms of the combat system. And I think on week 1, if you go back and watch my stream for week number 1, week number 2, plus the vlogs as well, you will see that I say that, you know, coming from games like BDO and WoW, which I reviewed this calendar year, then jumping into something like Rift Prime and getting used to the whole GCD system and just the pace of the fights in general, it's kind of hard. So for players to for WoW players to be used to whatever the combat system is right now, which I admit is fast. It's faster than a lot of some of these games that have come much later after WoW. It could be a huge, getting used to curve again. But at the same time, there have been things like 7.3.5, for example, patch 7.3.5. I mean, I was lucky that I was already playing World of Warcraft, leveling up somewhere in the mid zones. I think I was like level 50 or something when 7.3.5, the balance, the scaling patch hit. And when that hit, I was able to like A and B them in the space of a day. What was the scaling patch like in WoW before 7.3.5 and after? So for me, it was kind of a natural thing, to adapt the newer style. But for a lot of the other players that have been playing WoW for so many years, the increase in landscape difficulty and how long it took for you to clear dungeons now, that must have been like a major change that took a lot of players some time to get used to. So I guess I understand where they're coming from. But if you ask me, I think WoW's combat system is fine the way it is. But again, due to the lack of experience or whatever, I've not done a whole lot of the endgame stuff and a whole lot of PvP to even begin to understand why this change was necessary. So that's my 2 cents there. Patrick says, but I agree to prevent the cooldown stacking to not be killed in one GCD so you have time to react in PvP. Dixon says, good boy, good boy. Dixon says, there was just an event there. Oh no, I missed it. Yeah. And as a Guardian or as a player from the opposite faction, the thing is, for you to even start coming to these Defiant zones, the first manual way you can do is just move across zones by traveling or whatever. But the thing is with Rift Prime and Rift Live version for that matter is that guilds are now cross faction, which I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Rift players, those of you that are veterans that I played for, when the game launched, factions were a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, basically you couldn't join up with the other faction. Guilds were only Guardian guilds and Defiants were only Defiant guilds. And because of what has happened over the next few years or whatever with Rift and how it had to go from free to play and everything, the smart thing to do, and this is the same for all the MMORPGs, all of them that have issues with player base and numbers and all that population basically, the best thing to do when you have a game like that and there's multiple different factions is that you should make your guilds and make the content cross-faction so that more people have access to players of the other factions so that population would not be an issue. Especially true if it's regarding PvP or if it's regarding endgame content. It kind of sucks that, there's 6 guys on the Defiant side, 6 guys on the Guardian side, and they can't make that 12-man raid group because of the faction locks and shit. So one of the changes they implemented was to do cross-faction, which again, very, very smart. And most games have that as a standard now, but Wildstar as well. So with how Prime works now and how the live version works, my guild is a mixture of Defiant and Guardians. And the cool thing about the guild system, as you guys already saw in the previous stream, was that if there was a zone event taking place right now, you'll see that there's one in a Guardian area. So as a Defiant, if you have a Guardian player in there that puts down the guild summoning banner or the rallying banner, and if you do have those summoning scrolls, clicking that will automatically take you to that banner. So as a Defiant, you will get to go to the Guardian area, then you just go to the Portal Master and unlock that, and that's your foot into the other faction's early zone. So that's how I unlocked this area. But you don't have to do it that way if you're not in a guild. Like I said, you can automatically travel. Whereas on the live version, I believe if you have one of those free account boosts, or if you buy the level 65 level boost or whatever, I think the game kind of automatically unlocks all the Portcullis Masters for you. So that is kind of a nice benefit, I suppose. And Dixon says about the Warcraft changes, it's mostly a PvP complaint. They had a choice, give more off the global cooldown to more classes, or just put them all on GCD. Ooh. It's one of those hard decisions that the devs will spend like 12 hours in the meeting room, lack of sleep, running on caffeine, just discussing this game-breaking change. I mean, game-changing change, sorry. Game-breaking. I mean, it could be if a majority of the player base just revolts. Dixon says, and this is still not vanilla slow. That was slow. Dixel says, the action MMORPGs tend to wear out on me, so I can't play as long. And Dixel says, cross-faction came with Storm Legion. These balance changes were nearly as bad as vanilla, and the game died quick. Really good info there. So when did Storm Legion come out? Was Storm Legion 2013, was it? I'm not exactly sure my Rift timeline, being a new player and everything. But yeah, that was fast. I mean, not really. If Storm Legion came out 2 years after the game launched, then I guess the timing was... That's probably when the player base and everything wasn't as high as it used to be. Alright, so anyway, as soon as I'm done with this carnage, we'll go queue for PvP. I think I should be closer then. Yep, I'm very, very close. Very, very close. So, what was I supposed to talk about again? Yes, the vlog. The Prime vlog that I put out a day or two ago. I don't know. I mean, ever since... I haven't played Rift since, my experiences on Monday night. But that's, in a way, a good thing because I have managed to fill up my rested XP bar down there. And really, in that video, in my head, what I wanted to do and get across in simple, plain explanation was that due to where the class balance is in terms of, which is the most viable class or the #1 favorite to be picked for group dungeons and whatever, I was referring that with the current state of balance in Prime, this is going to be an issue if Tryon doesn't find a way to, balance things out. But the video, unfortunately, due to my emotional state of affairs, I suppose, I guess sleeping it off for a night wasn't sufficient enough. But unfortunately, the video came across as me attacking the Rift community and Pogs and everything, which is not my intention for the vlog. The community, and I accept that, the community expects things the way that it is right now. It's simply down to the class balance, and that is down to Tryon. So I'm more frustrated with balance in general rather than the player base. Of course, there's 1 or 2 assholes that I have on the ignore list right now, but that's a given. Every MMOs will have them. It's just my frustration with that system in general, not the community. So if you are offended by that, you shouldn't be, because that wasn't aimed at you. That was aimed at Tryon and class balancing in general. Okay, 10,000 here. Boom shakalaka. Alright, let's do this. Let's queue for some PvP. 1 win, and I ding 50. That's all I need. 1 win, and I ding 50. And like I said at the start of the stream, it's going to be super appropriate. Wow. That was a fast pop. Oh, Whitefall. I hate Whitefall. I'm not a fan of Whitefall, but you know what? A couple of deaths. Oh, the game has already started. Okay. So they just ported in me here. I'm just taking a look at my team setup there, and you can see by the rate panel, the group 1 here, we have 1 healer, and it is my, having done a bunch of Warfronts leading up to this, from experience, 1 healer in Whitefall is never enough unless the healer is super good. And usually players just mark, this guy's just on his own there, but people usually just mark, who's healing or whatever. That looks... Oh, that's Jiva. I know Jiva. Jiva's a healer, so that's my target. But 1 healer is usually not enough in my experience here. People usually queue for Whitefall or play Whitefall with 2 dedicated healers in a team. Because it's all about, getting those storm crystals. This guy in Primal Elite, he just stood there and did nothing. He's probably DC or something. Which is another thing that I've noticed recently on the Prime servers. Again, because... See, on the live version, you have Oceanic servers, Lathes, the shard is Oceanic, and then you've got the EU shards, and then you got the North American shards. The thing about Vigil, which is the Prime server, is that there's only 1 North American shard. So all of us, EU, Oceanic, whatever, we're all in the same shard. And it's more noticeable for us that's not in the US, especially in those huge zone events. Man, the lag... I managed to capture a video of this, where the lag was so bad, like my skills weren't going off, and when it was like a minute or 2 minutes between 1 skill firing off, and that's crazy. So we have a 2nd healer now, but I think it's too late. We've got 1 guy in the flag, or on the storm shard I should say, and they have 1 too. And really, whoever controls this middle fort here, has the advantage. He's probably gonna drop the flag. I think he went and stole it, I suppose. So what we really want to do as a group is hold this down and okay, they've got both now. Oh, Rift crashed. Come on. For those of you that followed me on Twitch, I was streaming some Wild West Online on Tuesday because the game had some patch changes. It's going to be releasing on Steam Early Access later this week and everything, so I thought I'd jump in, and the game just would not work for me. Crashes, optimization. I got so pissed off. I just like, no, I'm not doing this. So Rift crashed. So whatever I was talking about, server lag and everything, I mean, this kind of adds up to it. I mean, it hasn't happened a lot, especially crashes, but lag definitely has been a thing. Crashing in PvP, ouch. Can you imagine if I had the shard on me, which is basically the flag, and I was so close to cashing it in, and then I crashed? That my team would just put me on the blacklist. Never run with this guy again. This guy just cost us the match. The chances of that happening to any player is like less than 1%. So come on, what's with the long load in? The match still going on. Okay, here we go. I just logged in straight into Closure. What up, Closure? Looks like a rogue of some sort. Oh man. Going down. If I lose this match, I'll probably get about 6,000 XP. And oh damn it, I've already used my break free. The break free is part of my macro, so I can't exactly see the cooldown on that, and that's why some people have this add-on called K-Alerts. The full name of the add-on is Karul Alerts, I think, or Cruel Alerts, I can't be sure. But what you can do is you can individually set up various different cooldown notifications and all kinds of good stuff. Kind of complex, and you may want to use a tutorial or a guide to set up K-Alerts, but it's super useful. It's not for me though. I mean, my UI is already so cluttered. Oh, what the hell? My respawn time was 1 second and now it's gone up to 25 seconds. You guys see that? What the hell? That's BS. Come on. Okay, I'll sit on the bench for this one. I can't do anything. It just refreshed my respawn time. Come on. Yeah, I'm gonna bring down the my currency panel to up here, because that's going to be important when I go look at the gear once I hit level 50, just to give you guys an idea of the month that I've spent leveling on Prime. That is the amount of currency that I've gotten and have not spent properly. And later when we go look at the level 50 vendors, it'll give you some idea of just how much you probably need to earn. Okay, let's see if we can get this guy. Come on, let's stack some dots. Thing about Defiler, for me, your rage and greed stacking is all down to RNG, and sometimes it comes, sometimes it doesn't. So yeah, this guy's getting focused healed. We've got 2 healers in the group now, but I don't think it's sufficient anyway, so we'll give them the win. This is the last flag that these guys need to cash in. These guys are all defiant, so they cash this in, they win the match, and I'm okay with that. I am 6,000 XP away. Hey, wait, did I get my math wrong? No, I'm not 6,000 XP away, but I am close. So let's just go for a ride. Yippity, yippity doodle. Another cleric, and he's using the book weapon, which I actually kind of like. I think in week 3 I got this really cool tome. Yeah, that's what it's called, the tome. And the thing with clerics is a lot of people would say, oh, okay, you can either use a staff because it's ranged, or, you know, in close combat situations where, you know, you're going to be doing a lot of melee or whatever, you can use a one-handed mace in the book. And the book, I remember Wigga saying this in chat, like in one of those streams, that the book was actually, the animation for the book, that's not how books work in combat, you know, because it's not like you're reading it or anything, you're just putting it up in the air, and then you see like the magic stuff just sprout out. It's just really, really funny. But yeah, I dropped the book in like week 3. And I have used a staff ever since. And this staff with the horse, this one actually cost me like 12 planarite. No, shit. I'm getting my currencies mixed up. what's the highest thing? Platinum, sorry, 12 plat, which is pretty expensive, and I bought it because it's one of the better stats at 47, and because of the horse head, the golden horse head. I mean, I'm a Tolkien geek, I'm a Tolkien Lord of the Rings person, and to me that's a symbol of Rohan and the Rohirrim, so I thought, oh, you know, horse head in my wand, my staff. It's such a Rohirric thing to do. I may go back to the book, I don't know. I need to, oh, run, dude. Okay, I got you, I think. I'll be bait. You shall not pass. Oh, it doesn't matter anyway, they stopped chasing him. It's gonna do the Gandalf line there. Ooh, Storm Shard, you will not pick it up. Well, they won anyway. How much XP was that? 6,000, it was 7,000 XP. But you know, the thing about doing this as well as the favor, I mean, I got 200 there, kind of sad, not great, but it all adds up, and I'm about 39,000 going on 40,000 favor, which is the PvP currency. And oh no, I got my math all wrong. Sorry guys, I'm not 6,000 away, I'm actually about 40,000 away. So that means I get to do more PvP matches and do more carnages. Now let me check in on chat because I see it moving. Sorry you guys, it's hard for me to read chat while PvPing. Where did I last stop? Oh, hang on, let me just get rid of this rotting ghoul. I gotta say, it's refreshing streaming in the morning my time, you know, because at night when I stream, usually Sunday night, it's been a long day, and then I'm just gotta get into the groove and get into the focus of streaming and whatever. But for me in the morning, like, it's fresh. Like, I just woke up like a few hours ago, so everything is still fresh. Nefarious Spirits, that's what I need. I got 2 more. Alright, let me check in the chat while I go do this. Dixa says, these balance changes were nearly as bad. Oh no, I read that already. The changes on PDS do help clerics a bit and warriors a lot. And we're talking about the Omega PDS server, which is a PDS server for Rift Prime. Or I should say the Omega server PDS is currently hosting the Prime build. So apparently clerics are getting buffed there. Pretty much all 4 classes have a spec that can maintain 1.9k, and that's DPS, on the boss dummy, but it's usually just 1 spec. So by the looks of it, every class will have that 1 spec, as you say, that's going to be viable for boss DPS, I suppose. And Dix also says, all these souls, and in reality, we have no choice. We got Robert Wagner in chat. Hello, Robert. Sorry if I'm getting to your chat late. He says, almost there, man. Almost there. I thought I was closer, but because of how small the numbers are, I got my math all wrong. And by the way, my math is horrible. There's no shame in admitting that on stream, but my math is absolutely horrible. That's why I majored in journalism, and oh, secret's out. My math is horrible, so yeah, journalism and media communications was my majors. Patrick says, plus second big change in Battle for Azeroth, back to World of Warcraft now, is that they removed Master Loot, when Guild can choose who will get loot from bosses to just personal loot system. Raiders, especially Mythic, use it to be more efficient on progress fight. That's interesting. So what's there's a term for this, right? The Guild loot. DKP? Wasn't that what old traditional MMORPG used to use, the DKP loot system, which was really somewhat draconian but somewhat fair? You know, it goes to the players that have been there, that's turned up, that's been you know, punctual and contributed over the rate progression over the months or whatever. But the thing about personal loot, maybe it's just me, but I do like the idea of personal loot. I mean, there's something about, you know, doing a dungeon the old-fashioned way, or doing a raid the old-fashioned way, and getting to roll or talk to your guild members and see who's in line to get what, or who needs this more, or if you're trying to gear up a new person, and you know, it's all about giving this guy a loot. I mean, there's a lot of social dynamics that goes into how things like that work. For me, because I haven't been stationary. The last MMO that I played for a long period of time where I was actively at the end game was the Lord of the Rings Online. That was many years ago. So back then it was all that, you know, you would I think Lotro also changed it to personal loot, so you would run multiple dungeons and raids, and then if it dropped for you, it dropped for you. But it's not like it's a one-time drop in a dungeon, and then all 12 people, regardless on who needs it, will need or greed for it. I think if you open the last chest at the end, if the RNG is in your favor, it'll just drop in your bag. No rolling or whatever needed. I don't know if that's the thing or if that's what I was kind of doing. Dixa says that change was done to specifically to address the split raiders, and I'm glad for it. What is split raiders? Can somebody explain that? Patrick. Oh, looky! There's somebody in my guild. We got Moto. Hello, Moto. I'm just gonna wave at you. He's only 24 right now, but yeah, he kind of stuck up on me. But Patrick said, but there is a big disillusion about guild/council loot to be shady. Many players are not playing in a guild. Yeah, lots of interesting WoW discussion here. Okay, let's go ahead and turn this in. About 28,000 more XP. One more Warfront. Come on. A win and a half would probably do it. So I think I've cleared the mobs in this area. Now I know there's going to be some golems down there in the Stonefield area that I have carnages for. Like I said, I have leveled a rogue through this zone. Let's see. Nope. These are the Sicklehorn bucks. Kind of like cows. Oh yeah, I do get XP for discovering new locations too, so... I will come up with a video after the review comes out about, as a new player, if there are going to be new players jumping in. I mean, the thing about Prime was, it's one of those things like, it sells like hotcakes, you know. If there's a certain thing about jumping in when the server was live or launched on month 1, and I think month 2 is still acceptable, but for new players, and this could be a discussion itself, if you're going to be jumping in month number 3, a lot of the things are going to be a little more difficult for you to achieve in terms of landscape questing, for example, because with Prime, you know, it's a very social focused version of the game where you're going to see landscape quests in groups of 2 or 3 or more, and then you've got this one raid quest for the story, especially for me at level 50, that concludes the Guardian storyline, whatever. So, and a lot of these early zones will probably not have the population it would have if you had jumped in month number 1 or 2. So there could be some difficulty there. Okay, here's a carnage. So I'll probably come up with a video about some of the things you can do to gain more XP as a new leveling player and all that stuff. I mean, these are just content ideas, and feel free to, you know, share your thoughts or whatever and opinions and stuff like that, and maybe we can work something out. Patrick says, can do split run without master loot easily, and Patrick also says, stack XYZ cloth users, fixed problem. Okay, you guys are going to some really deep WoW stuff. Dixa says, I am trying to earn 50,000 Planarite for the Frostkeeper. I don't want to MA anymore. Alright, MA. For those that don't play Prime or don't play Rift, MA is one of those exclusive mage souls that you can buy from the Soul Merchant in your faction HQ. So the MA, I believe, is called Mystical Archer, which is one of the great souls for mages that have made them, you know, one of the most sought after classes, especially in dungeons, because of the speed and the effective, how effective they are at clearing trash mobs, which is always going to be a recurring theme in trash dungeons, because, you know, it's a time-consuming thing here, because obviously the damage buff and pools for mobs have been increased, so it's not like, oh, let's go clear a dungeon in 10 minutes. That's impossible, but you can, you know, reduce the amount of time you spend in dungeons by playing or by having a lot of mages in your group with MA or any other classes that have really good AoE souls. Like for me, I have the Kabbalist, and I have used it in dungeons, and it's just not, you just can't match it, you know? So I'm interested to hear about this Frostkeeper. Is the Frostkeeper, what is it? Is it an AoE or is it a really good single target? Okay, let's jump into this Warfront. Now again, I'm in combat? I'm not in combat. I haven't left anything alive, have I? I think I've killed everything. Hey, come on, I got 19 seconds. Don't do this to me. Well, maybe it's this guy, so I'll just kill this guy real quick. Well, I just pulled another one. Alright, how fast can we kill this savage? I got 8 seconds, 7 seconds. Don't go! Not yet. Come on. I'm not gonna make it. Damn it. Well, the good news is I picked up another carnage, so let's just go queue again. That's unfortunate. Oh, hello. He's still not dead. I guess they just run away. Ah, yes. Gimme, 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 win. Codex. Yeah, I can do Codex. Codex is not bad. Okay, let's see. We got Ralos, Kanga, Sulfid. I've run with these people a lot. I've seen their names everywhere. I'm gonna go DPS for this one, just cause, you know, healing for me in PvP is really boring. Even though, you can just, I think if you, any game you just add an additional healer, I think you stand a better chance at winning, honestly. So I see people converging over the Codex, and the Codex is something we do want to fight for. That ticks the most points. Let's just see if I got any buddies down there. Yeah, we do. So healer over there, that's my target. Stack dots. And as a defiler, you know, by dotting the healer, you're giving him a really hard choice here. You know, do you want to save? Does he want to save himself, or does he want to keep the group alive? And he can cleanse all he wants, but when you add dots in addition to all the burst damage that the other DPS classes are putting on him, the measure of how good of a healer he is really comes down to how he does this. And he's doing pretty damn good. What class is this? Doesn't really tell me what class this is, but I don't know. Cleric? Mage? Looks like a mage. Dead. So that they got a res. They got a res. So I'm back on the healer again. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave this and do the smart thing. We just go try and sabotage them. They're all focused on dealing with the Codex. As a player, you know, for me PvP, you just look around, scan, see where you can take advantage of their weakness or whatever. So by leaving me alone, I have managed to at least try and attempt to take a point back. Now, because this person is a healing mode, I will probably kill this person, but I do see a backup coming along, and these two are probably in cahoots. So Frostblade will never leave the healer's side, so I'm just gonna stay here and make sure he doesn't take back the point, which is exactly what he's trying to do. You can see his bar there, use control point, and I'm not gonna let him until it turns in our favor. So I'm buying my team some time because I've taken away the healer from the Codex. So this is me being all strategic and stuff, taking one for the team essentially. And this is what I enjoy about PvP, you know, just finding ways to contribute. And I know I'm never gonna kill any of these two because it's a 2-on-1 situation first and foremost. But hopefully I've bought my team enough time. Why aren't they taking the Codex? There we go. Thank you. Finally. Now I can die in peace and go back and take one of the other flags. With this Codex map, you know, the general tendency is like, it's all about the Codex. While it is, you can hold just the Codex, but you will need, especially at opportune moments, to go and take some of these other flags because it spreads the enemy. It spreads the enemy team. So this guy's focused on me right now, and I've got a healer on my back. So what I generally want to do is try and keep them on me and not on the healer, because if they see me as a threat, that is a mistake because I am not a threat. I am more of a. Okay, they've gone and they're taking the Codex again, so. But my little distraction play here. Well, doesn't matter. They're like 60 points away from a win. But this is what's fun for me when it comes to PvP. It's just that the individual matchups of the maps, you know, heal stack your heals, and preferably 2-3 healers, and you go and push different flags, and you stay there and have one always at the Codex, and that's how you win. So we've kind of prevented them from winning for a while, but I'm just gonna see where I can add here. They have the Codex. I probably want to go and grab that because I see like a bunch of people just fighting in the middle there. So me going down there. Okay, the vault towers, and that's south, and that's there. So that leaves the Codex. Who's up there? Can't see anybody, so if I can get that, it's a full Guardian map for a while, and there'll maybe be 2 minutes of us. If we can hold everything for 2 minutes, we can catch up. Big if. There's gotta be somebody down here. No. Yes. My one little flag play of going down there and moving the team around, moving the Defiance around is... It could probably be a game changer, and I'm gonna go heals. Now this is just basic... I'm just gonna change the strategy up here. I'm gonna try and stay alive here at the Codex, and between the two of us, we should be able to hold this down for a while. Again, 2 minutes is all we need. 2 minutes, and we should be able to catch up. But they're 20 points away from winning this match. This could be close. I mean, it's not gonna be close. I mean, it could be close. I don't know. See, I don't want to give myself hope, because if we end up losing, then I'll just end up feeling frustrated. So they're going for the vault, but we do have 4 for now. But if it stays that way, they still will win the match because they're so close anyway. So I'll let this guy take on... I'll let him defend that. I'll go take the vault, I suppose. Or prevent the taking of the vault. Translation scope seems to be where they're all at. I mean, if I were them, I would just... Earlier, I would just let them, or let me, take that one flag. Instead of moving around, but... They already had a huge point advantage, so... But that was cool, though. I mean, that's another 7,000 XP. And I am inching ever so close. 16,000 XP is all I need now to hit 50. Yeah, you are. Alright, back to the chat. Dixa says, loot councils are shady. Loot councils encourage clicks within guilds. Ooh. Spawning in the middle of combat, and I am in the healing mode too. This is bad. I'm gonna run away and go back into like my defiler. That's the thing, you know, pops whenever it pops, my first instinct is just to click enter instead of, okay, I'm gonna go look for a nice safe little spot so that after the match when I come out, you know, I won't be attacked by mobs. I don't think that far ahead. I see a Warfront pop and I'm in. I just jump straight away. Okay, artifact. Another system that I have not touched on, but this is mainly a form of Rift's in-game progression of collectibles that may reward you with some really fun stuff, but they are very time-consuming. Unless, of course, you use guides out there, and there's going to be so many websites that will give you all these artifact hunt guides, and where the location is, it's not always going to be the same location, but a general area. But there's, what, I don't know, I'm going to exaggerate here, more than 1,000 different artifacts to collect in Rift. Okay, Dixa says, only a handful of guilds have done loot council fairly. And Patrick says, I do not like it, leave guild, easy. And Dixa says, leaving a guild is never easy. We got Patrick in there. Patrick says, most of the mythic guilds are using it for the best way to kill bosses. In fact, it's time for ranking you join guild and you know about it. If they're using it, you see shady council system, tell what to do. Okay, I may really need to spend some time in World of Warcraft. Get to the end game and see what all these guild loot council thingies are all about. Because at this moment, I mean, I don't really have a lot of contacts. Because most of the dungeons I've done in World of Warcraft, leveling to 110 for the review has always been in bugs, and loot has never really been an issue because it's always personal, right? Dixa says, I have a lifetime to Lotro. That is just gathering dust. You have a lifetime Lotro count? Why? So, I'm gonna pick your brains here, Dixa. Why did you stop playing Lotro? Go. Patrick says, think about it and ask, but if you think you're being abused, you should leave, I think. Dixa says, if you're 40k away, do 4 quests in Stillmore. I've done pretty much everything I have in Stillmore, including the daily quests, which is how I really got to where I was. I mean, the thing is, I could have jumped into a couple of dungeons and called it a day, but I'm avoiding dungeons for now, until I'm ready to run some with my guild. Healing, that is. Patrick says, this change will lead for guild hoppers getting loot and leaving it, and then it will be shit on the forums. You kind of self-censored there, but don't worry, shit. You can use that. I mean, when I started this channel, there were kids and stuff that I was kind of trying to, you know, be aware of when it comes to language. But sometimes, I mean, just say what you gotta say in moderation, I suppose. All right, let's turn this in. Dixa says, no, they removed the expert vendor today. It's gonna. Oh, what? They removed the expert vendor for Rift Prime, so that means I cannot go and barter expert dungeon gear anymore. me just read that again. No, they removed the expert vendor today. It's going to be harder for you and anyone else that gets to 50 today to get raid ready. So how do we go about getting ready for experts then? Crafted gear. What's the alternative to getting ready to for experts? Because based on memory, the last time I checked, there was this one guy, and your faction HQ is going to have a tavern or an inn or something, and you can trade gear there. You know, and those are the three tiers that I was talking about. You got the expert, pre-expert, and then you got the post-expert, and then you got the raid gear. And I saw a bunch of things that you can vendor for. If the vendors are gone, so what does that mean? Do Rift Prime players that have just got to 50, do they have to just run the dungeons, and then hope that it drops for them, and hope that they win the role? Is that how it's going now? And Dixa says the Frostkeeper is the best tank healer in the game. Interesting. I mean, mages have a lot of bests. I'm not taking it out on mages, I'm just stating a fact. Mages tend to have the best so far. Patrick says mains, you would have had raid made up 20% of main characters and 80% of alts, and then loot was distributed to mains. This 20% of whole raid group, then you did it again and again. It would go. That sounds like DKP too, wouldn't it? Like the main group was the one that would get first dibs on gear and stuff. Robin Wagner says Codex was so much fun back in the day. I think Codex is still fun, provided obviously if you win. But no, honestly, even losing as a map, I mean, you got the whole travel system, and then there's the thing about how you delegate. I mean, if you are a pre-made group going into Codex for PvP, really fun, especially when there's communication and the group gets things right. Patrick says to mains, the point that you could hold heroic normal ability the first week on all main characters for mythic progress ready as much as you could. It is basically an open arms race. Awesome. And Rico has put a clock in chat about of the time, which was 10:30. So that means this was what, 5-10 minutes ago? Yeah, good morning, Rico. I mean, it's morning for me, but like I said, I don't really question this time a lot. So, oh, level 50! I has done it! It is done! Ding! Shit, I did not expect that. I thought, okay, probably it was the rested XP. Because I was kind of hoping I would do one more Warfront and then I would ding in a Warfront. But it ended up being on a Carnage quest. Shame! What a way to level up. Carnage quest in a Defiant zone. So I dunged behind enemy lines. Okay, so level 50, huh? Alright, let me just reply guild here. Finally! So it's taken me a month and a week and 2 days, I think, to get to level 50, and man, it was some journey. It's not done yet, of course, because as ever, the true fun begins now. First things first, let me go and look at the achievement that I totally missed. Oh, what's this? Stay Frosty. Oh, I see. Summary. Recent. Level 50. Reached level 50. Level 50 is worth 5 achievement points. Get out of here. Give me like 50 achievement points or something. Or maybe it all adds up. Probably all adds up. So level 10 was 5 points. 20 is 5 points. 30 is 5 points. 40 and 50. But then you can see it has a reach level 60, which is currently blacked out, so it hasn't been added yet, obviously. But no title, nothing. Come on, something would be nice. But also just a real quick thing. Like, I'll show you guys something real funny. Like this, my achievement panels in general. The most progressed bar overall. It's not character. It's not planes. It's not dungeons. It's not zones. It's PvP. That's the most achievements I have gotten in Rift, which kind of says a lot about, you know, my favorite activity here, I suppose. So it is time to go back to Sanctum, and let's take a look at the good stuff. Let me just open my soul tree real quick now. Level 50, I do get 2 soul points to spend. I'm going to keep this for later. because I now have to rethink about my builds and everything, of course. I probably will keep the Defiler for PvP. I will keep my Sentinel for any dungeons that I jump into, or even for PvP healing. Then the other 2 empty roles that I have, I'm probably going to play around with some more. The Kabbalist build that I have didn't really work for me, so I may have to look into that. Awesome. Alright, let's go back to Sanctum. Yeah. Alright, let me check in chat some more. Dixa says Lotro is very grindy, and the current end game is a huge cash trap. Dixa has, for context, Dixa has a lifetime account, and I was just asking Dixa why they quit Lotro. So, grindy for Mordor, I can see where you're coming from, depending on when exactly you quit the game. But yeah, ever since the Essence system got introduced into Lotro, a lot of things started to change, especially in terms of the way players go about getting gear, and how things were added to the store, stuff like creating those essences, some stuff you get from the store and a lot of things. I mean, it goes on, but I can see where it's coming from. Dixa says you can barter armor only, but there are wax and expert vendor that sells the tier 2 weapons. I see. Okay, so that explains it. So the vendor that I was looking at was more of just like chest piece, boots and everything. But if I want weapons, and if I wanted accessories like earrings, rings, necklaces, then I have to what were you saying? Drops from dungeon stuff. Okay. Dix is exactly run dungeons over and over, but loot is personal. Okay, so if loot is personal, then I don't have a problem with that, because for me, having just hit 50, if I were now to go and do the same expert 10 times, and you know it drops 10 times, so I've got to roll on it 10 times, that would burn me out. I think that'll burn a lot of players out, even though that's what MMOs used to be. I think in the current landscape, a lot of MMOs have kind of simplified things and made it easier with the whole personalized loot system and everything. So that is kind of good news, I suppose. Rigger says, "Grats, thank you, Wigga. It's been some struggle, man, on the Prime server." I mean, I say struggle, but really the experience of getting from 1 to 50 on Prime is invaluable to me, especially in seeing the game for the first time. Like, a lot of people would think I have played Rift before heavily. I have not. I'm jumping into Prime as opposed to live for my first player look at an MMO that I sort of regret not playing at launch, because that's why fresh start, progression, service, and all this stuff exists in the first place, to recapture that launch magic, you know, of having a new MMO and whatever. Even though the Prime build is nothing like vanilla, I've been told vanilla is completely different, whereas Prime is using classes and souls of the live version of the game. Patrick Liba has put a cake in chat. Thank you very much for the congratulations. Robert Wagner with 2 exclamation marks. Thank you, Robert. Dixon says, before that vendor was removed, you needed 24 expert boss kills, and you had your tier 2 epic weapon. Now you have to grind a specific boss. Ooh, that's an interesting change. Well, I would rather do a specific boss than clear the dungeon 24 times, even though the 24 expert boss kills could be really handy for gathering other types of currency, maybe? I'm not sure. Which one do you prefer? Do you prefer grinding a specific boss, or doing it 24 times for a weapon? Because, and the thing that you want to take notice, depending on what your playstyle is or how you play or whatever, you may want several different weapons. Your main hand, your two-hander, your offhand for the different roles that you might have. So, now, level 50. All the vendors are open to me. But yeah, I mean, for me, like, just talking to the guild and checking in on my guild's Discord and looking at the Cleric section, because, you know, my guild's kind of helpful. They do have specific builds, guides, and stuff. A lot of people will tell me that the Rune Shaper is what I really want to start grinding for now. Because now, for endgame progression truly opens up for those at 50. Even though there's still some, you know, solo PvE stuff that you probably may want to progress on, like the story, and of course there's all those events and achievements and everything. But for those of you that are into group content, you may want to start grinding Planarite, which comes from those open landscape events in the first place. So for me, I have the Rune Shaper as my ultimate goal, because this one, Rune Shaper versus Defiler, I think a Rune Shaper, a lot of people will tell me that a Rune Shaper, especially for going into experts for single target damage, is going to be great. If I want a DPS, which again, I'm gimping myself because as you guys have watched the vlog may have known that clerics don't usually go into expert dungeons or whatever as a DPS, because that's not what is expected of us. We're more of tanks and healers kind of thing. But Rune Shaper is one that I may want to look at. So you guys can see my tab up here. This is all my currency that I've been gathering since I started Prime, playing casually every day. This is what I have. 8,000 Void Stones, 24,700 Planarite, almost 40,000 Favor, and then my in-game cash. So I need another 25,000 Planarite. So that means dedicated going and hunting events and closing rifts and killing off invaders and destroying footholds. I don't know how long that will take me to get 50k Planarite. The entire 1 month that it took me to get that 24,000 Planarite has been like, I wouldn't go out of my way, like I wouldn't go off path just to clear a rift that's to my right or whatever. Usually if I were to go, I go for a specific reason. Either it's in the way, it's blocking my path to the objective, the quest objective, or if there's a guild event and somebody summons us, then yeah, I'll go do that. But now I have to actively go seek out these in-game events to try and stock up on that. Of course, there's like weekly quests, daily quests. All these zones will have those, close to rift daily quests and kill maybe 16 to 20 rift creatures for XP as well. So picking up all those daily quests is going to be really important from now on for me moving forward if I want to get to this 50k amount to get the Rune Shaper. But that is if I want to go DPS. Now for me as a healer, it's a totally different story. I can straight away start grinding for the gear that I probably want to have if I want to start healing. So Cyril Kalmar is the leader of the Guardians, I think, right now in level 50. He apparently opens up a quest now. Oh, look, a raid quest. There's something dark and terrible growing in Scarwood. So, at level 50, raid quest opens up, huh? And the reward for that is 5 mighty healing potions. That is some raid quest reward, y'all. 5 healing potions. Nice. Okay, I see another quest opened up down there now that I'm 50. What do you got? And yeah, I mean, just take a look at my guild, Reverence Oceanic, at the amount of level 50s. So I'm going to show the offline as well. I am one of many players in the guild that are 50. So, and I think right now where the guild is at, they have their individual raid groups. I think we have up to like 4 raid groups now that are progressively doing, I don't even know the name of the raid, but they're progressively doing that. So I may want, I'm not going to try and, break into one of the existing ones. I may want to find something else to do in the meantime. When there's a whole bunch of people that are almost on the cusp of 50 as well, so I'll need a beginner guild group to start doing experts, and then slowly from there move up and up and up. Oh, kind of exciting, I suppose, now that I'm 50. So what is this? We've got new quests here as well. I'm not going to take anything just yet. I'm going to look at this at my own pace. I promised to talk about gear vendors, so let's go see some. In here, I mean, this is for Guardians, of course. If you're Define, I can't really show you, so you may have to look up another person's channel or guide online or whatever. And before I just jump into vendors and talk crap for another 5 minutes, I'm going to check in the chat real quick. Dixa says the DPS checks needed in expert dungeons are insane. You will see soon enough. Well, I'm not looking forward to it. Kind of looking forward to it. I don't know. I'm just worried about healing checks in general, because if I don't really play out and out healers in all the MMOs that I play. Never mind for reviewing in my own time too. Lotro was my main game. I never play an out and out healer. I'm always the in between guy. Captain support for those of you that play Lotro, especially in the end game content, even for PvP. So committing yourself to the one healing role, the stress is real, bro. We got CS Dagger in there. CS Dagger says, just want to say you got a great channel. Keep up the good work. Oh, thank you, CS Dagger. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah, I will definitely keep up the content stuff as long as you guys are enjoying the content. Then, I'm happy to put more and more and more and never quit. Dixon says there's an event in Shimmer right now. Go there. Shimmer said, oh look, I mean there's an event right here, but you know, you're not gonna get as much Planarite for doing a lobby event as opposed to Shimmer. Yeah, Dixon. I mean, if you're already there, go ahead, man. I'm gonna pass on this one because I'm gonna take a look at some of the vendors and stuff, and then talk about the leveling experience, and then probably call it a day. And yeah, just a bunch of talking now, which is the boring part. But for those of you that have been wanting to see this part, stay on. Alright, this little room that I'm in has a bunch of vendors. So we've got the Mendicant Order, hope I'm pronouncing that right. And each of these will have different stuff that you can buy. With Planarite, these are crafting recipes for resistance runes. So these are runes. And what are these? These are Planar Essence, which you can put into your character. Oh, these are, okay, the level 50 ones do cost a lot. Wow. What is that? 10,000 Void Stones. I barely have 8,000, so... And these ones, okay, like for me, if I'm a mage or whatever, this is what I want to look at. Wisdom is my main stat, but by having blocking there, that means this is for Cleric tanks, for example. Spell power is what I want if I want to heal. So, man. Okay, I thought Planarite was my issue. Void Stones might be an issue too. So I have a lot of currency grinding to do. Never mind dungeon grinding. Stone Scroll, okay, that's a pet. So we got runes and essences in here. Next up, Storm Inquisition. Pretty much the same thing. Rune recipes, and the difference is which of these factions do you have more reputation with. So if you've been questing or whatever, see these guys, I can buy their stuff because I probably, no, I don't. You need to hit Honored. So if you go under your notoriety, which is your reputation, and then you see the different factions, this is how you're gonna track what you need to progress to even start purchasing some of these gear. Obviously, there's gonna be alternative ways to get these. If I go outside, there's gonna be a couple of vendors that are gonna sell some Planarite stuff too, or some rare Planar goods. So over here, we've got Ascended Powers. These are stuff, I mean, some of these, like the Guardian's Flare or whatever, I don't, okay, Planolure, this is given to you when you start the game, so you don't really need to buy this, unless, of course, for some reason you don't have it. But there's other stuff as well. Grants permanent ability to see alternate realities. That sounds cool. And a whole bunch of stuff. With Rescue Medic. Ooh. Grants the permanent ability to summon a Rescue Medic capable of mending soul vitality. So you can just basically summon a healer out in the open for 15,000 Planarite. I'm not going to spend that amount, so I'm not looking at this vendor. What do we got? We got dailies now. Ooh. Silence the Void is a new raid. Kill the Dragon Rusiath, the Voice of Crucia. So more raid quests, and this is a daily as well. And this is going to give you 100 Void Stones. So there's one way to get some Void Stones. Do your dailies, and that's going to give you reputation with the Storm Inquisition. So one step into progression is to have a look at that. Most of the gear from this room is going to require you to hit a certain reputation tier with some of these factions, and there's going to be daily quests from these people, and that's what daily quest icons look like that you can pick up and go do it. Ascended reward cage. Now I have no idea what's in that cache. I totally said cage, didn't I? Okay, here we go. Planar goods. These are not level 50, judging by the color, I don't think. I mean, you can get better ones out in the open, especially questing in some of those zones. All these Planarite vendors, I keep calling them Planarite vendors, they're called something else. Let me move the panel. Planar goods and epic planar stuff. I mean, in some of the zones they are parked there as well. You can just go there and check out what's close to your level or whatever. But for level 50, I'm sure there's a better one out there. Sigil of the 5 looks decent. That's a lot of Planarite, 7,500. 4 lesser essence slot and 2 greater. I mean, it's already better than what I'm using. Actually, yeah, it is better than what I'm using. The stats might look in the red. That's because of all the essences I have right now aren't good. Okay, next. Epic Planar Enhancements. Okay, what am I looking at? We're looking at essences, and these are greater essences. Okay, so these are some interesting changes. So while you're leveling, some of the greater essences you may come out in the world or see out in the world will directly give you additional stat. So there could be a greater essence that's going to give you maybe, I don't know, 10 wisdom or whatever, and then slowly you start to see stuff like a greater essence might have a description like if you heal somebody, you may do an additional blah 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 X of healing or whatever. So it has all that name description stuff, which is kind of reflected in the level 51s too. Apparently, equip increased damage done by eruption of life by 18. So as a cleric, it's showing me cleric specific greater essences directly affecting some of my skills here, because eruption of life is one of my cleric skills for one of my souls. I believe it's the druid. I think, yeah, it's a druid spell here. So that is interesting. If I'm running a specific build or soul, then, for example, if I'm going healer and I'm going in my Sentinel Pure rebuild, this one directly increases healing done with my healing breath skill, one of my most used skill in my rotation, by 52. So that's something you may want to look at. But, you know, at the moment, I have a feeling a lot of these are just illusion of choice, because if you were to go to any of the level 50 endgame guide websites, like I think the GAR station, for new players watching and you're about to hit 50, Google search GHAR and then space station. These guys are creating endgame guides for Rift Prime, and I've had a look in most of the classes. A lot of the build stuff will remain the same, so I'm not sure you want to spend your Planarite and Void Stones on these things unless... I don't know what the unless is. I don't know. I don't know what the risk is of building your own version of what you want to play at endgame. Which, again, if you've watched my vlog, you will know that with where the endgame is currently, everybody wants the conventional. These are synergy crystals, so it has opened up at level 50. Let's see what these do. So Dungeon Conqueror's armaments, I can have 2 of them. And having 2 will increase my endurance by 35. So this is a tanking synergy crystal. Where do these go? Some gear sets or some armor sets, for example, will have slots. This one doesn't, but you may see one that has slots to equip synergy crystals, and that's where they go. And here's a slot, so I could be wrong there, but you equip that there, I think, and then that's gonna impact your gear. I don't know. This is a new player look at what gear looks like, or what vendors sell what type of gear, and there is a lot. You got the planar essences to start off. I'm now looking at synergy crystals, and I haven't even touched gear and weapons and accessories yet. And these are all 3,000 void stones each. So this is kind of affordable. I just need to know what I really want, or what the community thinks is best for a healer. I mean, this one sounds good, but healing spray is not a skill that you would use in an expert or whatever. For clerics at the moment, there's only one spammy type uber heal that players will use in between waiting for those large boss hits, and before you blow all your oh shit cooldowns and stuff. Okay, next up we got epic planar equipment. Okay, I see weapons here. 48, oh my god, 5,000 planar, right? And 10,000 void stone. Yeah, again, that's my bar, that's my currency that I have right now. I'm nowhere near getting any of this stuff. And this is only level 48, so I may hold off and wait till something level 50 appears or drops. So I don't want to be spending that amount of currency on level 48 gear. Finally, we got planar vouchers. Gives you 25 autumn harvest ember sap. These look like festival stuff. Gives you 25 now again, as a new player, if I don't know the festivals, I don't know stuff that comes from the live version of the game, so these things are kind of foreign. 25 unique snowflakes. I don't know what you'd use this for, but I would avoid it if you're trying to gear. And then these side, it's probably going to be the same as the other guys. Yeah, pretty much just recipes and essences, but these ones, by the looks of things, this one gives you a couple of different ones as well. And it all comes down to which reputation you have the most notoriety with. Well, apparently, I have a lot with the Order of the Flame, because I can buy some of this stuff right off the bat. It's not telling me that I'm gated behind my notoriety, so I can buy stuff from this guy. And this one, for example, hit plus 20. Speaking to one of my guildies, hit is going to be an important stat for players, DPSers, whoever at expert dungeons, because hit simply means your ability to not to have your attacks not dodge or glanced or whatever the term in Rift is. Let's go into stats real quick and let's see hit. Increases your chance to hit high level enemies. Suggested value Classic Expert Dungeon 50, Classic Tier 1 Raid 100. And I, coming to 50 from leveling gear, have 6. So that should give you an indication of how way behind I'm at. And it'll be interesting to see how easy it is to get these hit. But judging from even basic stuff like essences will already have hit stats on them. So I think it's going to be easy to up that. And I haven't checked out the 50 gear, as I said, so we'll go do that and see how much hit they have. That's odd, though. Like, I'm hovering over some of these stats, but only hit apparently gives you the requirements for experts and raids. Other stats don't really give you a ballpark figure, which I think would be helpful. But again, there's so many online guides out there that's going to help you along with that. Or if you're in a guild, just ask the raiders. So hit is definitely something I want to keep an eye on. New players, keep that in mind. And that's it. I'm gonna guess these guys are also gonna be the same thing. Yeah, pretty much. Just various different types of essences and stuff. So that's essences. Shall we go look at gear right now? Now, again, if you're watching this and at this point, like I said, the GAR Station is one website that's gonna give you some endgame guides and stuff. Now, the thing about the GAR Station is, you know, the level 50 endgame guide there talked about PvP gears being kind of viable. Now, I don't know if that is true or not. Before we jump into the PvP area, again, this is the Guardian side, this is the Sanctum. In there, you're gonna see all the PvP gear vendors. Before you go in, though, if you're wondering, okay, I've completed the landscape quests as my faction, and I've run out of quests, and all I got now are just dailies, basically. Are those the only way to increase your notoriety / reputation with several factions when you're trying to, you know, use gear vendors? The answer is not exactly. I mean, those dailies will obviously give you reputation when you go into PvP and you kill other players or you take objectives. Those give you reputation as well. Doing dungeons and killing mobs in dungeons will still give you reputation, of course. And then you may have dungeon drops that look like this, which you may already start getting even as a lobby. Damn it, my bags are a mess. There you go. Sigil of Primal Valor. This may drop, and you know, the description is really vague. This token can be redeemed for notoriety with a notoriety dispenser in most major cities. Great, you think. And then when you come to your city, you're like, where the F is the notoriety dispenser? Because that's what it said. That's what you're looking for. He's over here on the Guardian side. His name is Sergeant Terzo, and he is the Commendation Quartermaster, not a notoriety dispenser as described. So clicking on him, you will see the option to turn in your Sigil of Primal Valor for all these different factions that you may have come across. Quicksilver is basically the Silverwood faction of the mages. Then you got the Gloomwood Waykeeper. So basically every faction you've come across in your adventuring journey throughout Rift and Talara, you can just increase your reputation here. So I'm just for a trial run, I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to increase my Quarry Rats because those sound good. I don't know, it's just for testing, right? So opening up my notoriety. Quarry Rats, where are ye? Quarry Rats. God damn it. What happened to my Quarry Rats? Oh, there we go. So I'm currently friendly with them. 8536. So let's just go buy Quarry Rats. And that's basically, I got an achievement. Lawman. So that increased about 1400 reputation with the Quarry Rats. And now I am now decorated. And that has given me a title, I suppose. I wasn't really expecting that. I didn't know I was that close. And that's it. I've now completed my Quarry Rats notoriety. So all those Sigil Primal Valor that you get from dungeon drops, this is a way for you to cash them in and get some reputation. And then if you go back to the zone, you can just look at some of their Quartermaster stuff and see what stuff you can pick up. That's what those Sigil Primal Valors are for. Now, inwards we go to the PvP gear, and let's see what these are, where to get 50 stuff. These guys are all lobbies, I believe. Okay, this one gives you some gear, but this is all level 12, and you can tell just by looking at the plane here, or the panel. And it stops at level 48. So let's look for the level 51.
Looking for something?
Are you it? No.
Always a pleasure.
You, Colonel. Judging by your rank. Oh shit, you have nothing to sell me. Well, I'll sell you some stuff.
Until
So the colonel is currently not selling anything. So we got the lieutenant. You. There we go. Okay, so here is the level 50 PvP gear. Unfortunately, I can't really sort this by class. Oh, that opened up the store for some reason. So that probably means that I'm already looking at all cleric stuff. Okay, probably not. So all the stuff that is in red means it's not for my class, and everything that's available to me is for my class. So let's see, Liberator's Boots, 414. Yeah, these are definite increases to my stats. There you can get accessories as well, which is good. Belts as well. What else we got? Amulet, that's great. And then shoulder guards, and I wonder if weapons, rings, nice. So this is a one-stop shop. Choker. What about weapons, y'all? Weapons, we got Liberator's Hammer at level 50. You can get that here. You got the tome, you got the book and everything. So these are upgrades apparently, although I do lose wisdom. That's kind of odd for level 50. I mean, it's blue in color, so it's not the rare stuff. But yeah, you can get weapons here. Now, what is the problem with this gear, especially if you're going for dungeons? I'll tell you what the problem is. There's no hit. Only a few minutes ago, we were talking about how hit is going to be an important stat for your dungeon running. And none of the PvP gear is going to have hit, which makes sense because when you're fighting against other players, I don't think hit is going to come into consideration. Although I can't really say because I don't know whether it is going to come into play as an important stat or not. But there is no hit, which, again, in your stats panel, it already tells you what is required for hit for expert 50 and raids 100 hit. And the PvP gear, then, unfortunately, is not viable for PvE content. Some games do this. A lot of games do this. A lot of games have PvP gear and PvE gear be of the same thing, where you can just wear one forever and, you know, go do different types of content. I mean, that's just the lazy way of doing things. So Rift is not one of those games. You do have to progress two different gears, and I guarantee you, there's going to be some players that are going to be bringing in PvE rating gear into PvP. Because they've already done the hard work in one area of the game, and if they didn't want to grind, or if the raid gear is better than the PvP gear, you'd obviously use that in PvP. That is the case probably because PvP doesn't have a PvP particular stat or mechanic. Like some games, I'll give you an example. Lord of the Rings Online, for example, has the Audacity, where you need to stack Audacity as a stat to successfully hit or have extra mitigation against PvP enemies and stuff like that. Other games may have that too. Rift doesn't have that. So that means PvP gear is for PvP, or PvE gear could be viable in PvP, but not the other way around. As for pricing, judging by how much I have right now, and this is from running, here's my stats. I have done a total of, what is that, 70 warfronts since I started playing on Prime. A total of 70 warfronts. And that's it right there. 39,942 favor. So based on that, 1 month of playing, casually playing, 70 warfronts. Oh, hang on. We got PvP Prestige, rank 1. This is new. So at level 50, you unlock PvP Prestige, which seems like a rank system. And I suppose the more matches you play, the more kills you get, or the more wins you get. This is going to increase. Okay, so this could be interesting. Now I wonder if there's going to be some mechanics behind Prestige. Like, what does it do? What is Prestige? Is it going to make you harder to kill if you are a higher Prestige rank? Or does that mean you can get access to better gear with the higher your Prestige? So this is interesting. I should have looked at this before I talked about gear. So now this kind of changes things a bit. I'm not sure how PvP comes up. I'm not sure how Prestige comes into play. So, okay, cool. Good to know. So I thought at 50, you know, PvP was going to be a one and done for me. But it does look like you can progress in PvP as well. If it is your preferred playstyle, then yeah, there's something for you to work towards. Good. I'll look for PvP, slightly better. Okay, so that's gear for this person. Social clothing over here. This is just cosmetics that you can buy using favor, I suppose. 3,000 favor per piece. Yeah, I forgot to actually look at the individual prices of stuff here. Okay, so for example, the best piece of upgrade for me, I mean, these two are great upgrades already. 6,000, 6,000, 12,000 for 2 pieces, and I'm on 40,000, so maybe a couple of weeks, 3 weeks of casually playing PvP, I'll probably get the full set. So pretty affordable. But if you are winning a lot of matches, then you'd obviously get it faster. So there's another vendor in here. This person now, what do they sell? Okay, here's a level 50 focus, and the focus is what you need to put in all your lesser essences and your greater essences. This one gives me 2 greater, 4 lesser. Seems a decent fit. 56,000 favor though. That is yeah, that's a lot. So I would buy this immediately so that I can slot in all the essences that I have or start getting for level 50. But I don't have 56,000 favor. I'm not there yet. And they do have essences as well. Same thing here. I mean, these are just stats, but I'm looking for, again, a PvP specific stat, but I'm not finding one. So that means that is not in play. So yeah. Oh, it looks like there's PvP synergy crystals as well. And this one increases endurance, spell power. Yeah, definitely looks for PvP there. I mean,
Always a pleasure.
okay, good stuff. So, I need currency. That's the main feeling I'm getting right now. The main thing I'm taking away from all this is I've just hit level 50, and for me to even start thinking about jumping into dungeons or whatever, I really need currency to buy some of these gear sets to even get a sniff, to get a chance of getting in there. Where am I heading to? I'm heading to the tavern because that's where I remember there being a vendor for dungeons and stuff. We've already had a look at the PvP vendors. We're going to look at the PvE vendors right now. So this is the tavern, the Lodge of the Plains, aptly named, I should add. Let's see, a bunch of dailies just opened, and I do believe these are dungeon dailies. I could be wrong. So this is where you go and pick up your daily dungeon. No, these are guild weekly quests. My bad. Guilds do have progression too. That's the XP bar right there, and the higher the guild, the more points you get, I suppose, and then you can put that into perks. So, pretty cool for guilds and Rift. But one of these guys do give dungeon quests. It could be him. It could be this guy.
We will save this world.
There you go. Standard dungeon quests, so you can pick these up and do them if you want. Now, where is the gear vendor? Waitress. No. Ascended Quartermaster. Here we go. So here's a vendor. I think this person sells gear. Yes, this person sells gear. Okay, this is what I'm looking at, but apparently this vendors might go away. It might go away, I don't know. So based on this, you can already start ticking various different things. You got rate 2 in here, I'll uncheck that. Rate 3, rate 1, take out experts, and I'm left with the blues. So this is what I'm looking at if I want to start running endgame dungeons, getting ready for experts. Now, once I tick expert, there we go. So expert is now here. So let's just take a look at the normal dungeon gear at level 50. It looks affordable. Again, I'm going to show you guys my panel of how much void stones I have. This currency is loosely based on me playing casually for a month and a week, just questing as a new player would. And 8,000 is my total void stone count now that I'm 50. So the hauberk here, the chest piece, this one seems to be for, I think I could use this for healing and DPS if I wanted to. It's got hit as well. That's 13 hit, and I do need 50 for experts. So looking at the various different pieces here, it seems that the chest has hit, the legs, the boots don't have hit, your hands have hit. So does your helm. So does your legs. Not the shoulders, not the belt. So just getting a full piece of normal level 50 dungeon gear using your void stones is probably not going to give you the hit amount required to get into experts, but we still haven't gone into weapons and accessories like rings and necklaces and stuff like that. So that's probably where you're gonna, and those essences as well, that's probably gonna make up the hit where you're gonna need to get into dungeons. Okay, so 600 for the belt, 1,000 for each piece. Let's just put it at that. I may have enough to already buy my first dungeon set in level 50, which is good news. So it's not going to be that hard. The alternative here is to craft, and we'll go take a look at the auction house and see what level 50 gear people are selling for as an alternative to spending this stuff. So you could even bypass the initial level 50 blue gear, dungeon gear, and just go straight to farming some experts, I suppose. Looking at the bottom of the store here, there's a couple of different currencies. Too bad I'm hovering over them and it's not really telling me what it is. Okay, here we go. This one is Greater Primal Mark of Ascension. This is rate currency. Okay. Then this is Primal Mark of Ascension. Again, rate currency. And then the Void Stones. And that's your gem. So, alrighty.
Let us trade again.
Now let's take a look at the Expert Dungeon Gear, which is what is in purple. Let me just get rid of the rate stuff. So blue, level 50. Your first step into running dungeons at level 50 is blue gear. Only costs Void Stones. Pretty easy to get if you do dailies and all that stuff. Oh, check it in chat right now. We got Ekov. Hello, Ekov. He says, first time I've caught one of these live. Hey, man. Welcome to the stream. That's the whole intention of streaming on a Thursday morning for me. Like, look. Sunlight. This I don't usually do this often, but because I got a break and my work today only starts later, I thought I'd just stream and say hi to everybody in the West. And it's been great so far, because a lot of the times I usually stream at night for me, so it's nice to finally be able to say hi to all you people that have not been able to catch the stream live. Alright, so Expert Dungeons or Expert Dungeon Gear now is going to be a little harder because there is a new currency in play called the Primal Plaque of Achievement, earned by defeating bosses in Expert Dungeons. Now, again, I was talking to Dixar in chat earlier, and apparently these are going away. Vendors are going away. So I won't be able to get my expert gear anytime soon, because obviously I don't have these expert currency. But just judging by some of the stats here, I mean, these are not exactly... I guess the synergy slots are going to be important, because that means you can add more stats to it, right? More hit, more this, more that. Definitely more armor, that's for sure. And 1,005 Void Stones, 1,008, 2,004 for the legs. Lots of grinding for gear, y'all. So later today, I probably will definitely have to buy a full set of my early gear before the vendors go away, because that means I'm kind of screwed then. Oh, armor's not going away. That's right. Dix, I just said that in chat. It's the accessories and weapons, right, or something like that. Yeah, I've just been looking at so many vendors. I just completely got confused. So Dixa says the vendor used to also have weapons and accessories. Gotcha. Okay, so this particular vendor used to have weapons and accessories as well, and that is now gone. Yeah. Okay, let's add in raid 1, raid 2, and raid 3, and let's have a look at what the raid gear looks like, huh? Okay, I don't see raid 2 and raid 3, but I just see raid gear here. So these cost 90 primal marks of ascension, and as far as stats goes, oomph, 43 wisdom, which is a high increase from the 20s. Yeah, of the breastplate. Epic loot. And you got 4 synergy slots instead of the 2 from the expert. And how do they look though? Hey, looking good's important, If the raid gear looks like crap, who cares? Oh, it actually looks pretty good. If I were to dye that in my usual black and raid or whatever, that does look good. I don't think I'll ever get the raid armor sets, y'all, but I'm just showing you where you can get it and how much they cost. I don't know how many. Anybody know in chat how many of these primal marks drop from a raid boss? Or a expert raid rift. I think I saw that in the description. It also drops from bosses in expert raids. And rift does have expert raid rifts. So not dungeons, not raids. Raid rifts are basically those rifts out in the landscape, but expert meaning that they're harder. The boss difficulty is really up there, and there are mechanics in there as well. So.
Let us trade again someday.
Okay. So. As for expert weapons and accessories that we already know are no longer in that vendor, how do you get them? Well, you gotta run in dungeons, or you gotta craft. Now I'm gonna make my way to the auction house and see what exactly is up there for level 50s. So maybe you don't want to do dungeons for the time being, and you have all the planerite in the world. from selling a rare mount maybe, and you've got some Planarite and you want to see what's available for you. So if you want to bypass maybe a little bit of that PvP gear grind, if you want to do PvP, or that first tier of blue dungeon stuff that you think is not up to scratch, let's go ahead and look at armor. I'm going to look for stuff from my class, obviously, just to see what's up there. As for level, let's just set that at 50. And search. Okay, lots of greens, and that takes that out of the picture. I don't think anybody should be wearing greens, because even a level 47 purple is still better in some aspects. Like, I get more hit and stuff. I don't know, you may want to, but armor-wise, there's only one purple in here. And I'm not... See, it's hard to tell whether this is crafted or it's a drop. This one is like 225 flat. Holy shit. That's almost as expensive as one of those rare mounts. But it does have that 13 hit. It does have all the stats that I want. And it has 41 wisdom, so that's comparable to that tier 1 raid armor that I had a look at there. But it does not have those synergy slots, which could be important. So, yeah, don't buy that. What about legs? Oh shit. One pair of legs on sale. Feet? No. Okay, there we go. There's some hope for the hand slot. Let's see here. We have just the one purple, not even blues. What is up with the auction house? Are people not crafting, or is crafting not viable for endgame gear stuff? Definite upgrade, but this has block and dodge, so for Cleric that simply means you are tanking. It's more towards tanking, so I definitely don't have a use for that, as I'm going to be jumping into stuff as a healer. There we go, 1 blue, yay, yes, upgrade, yay, and 10 plat, yay, I can afford this, and I'll probably get this later, so this is my first step. So getting this, that means I can save like void stones from getting the helm at the level 50 guy that we just saw, so I probably will buy this for the 10 plat. Good. So chain shoulders, what do we got? Of course, if one of you watch the stream and are a cleric and you go buy before me, then this is not an upgrade. So lastly, we've got belt. Ooh, purple belt. What do we got? Dodge in there, wisdom in there. I lose spell power in both, but that too expensive for me. So that's that. As for capes, like the one thing I've noticed about Rift Prime is that nobody sells capes. Capes or see, I'm so used to seeing Rift call it capes, I forgot the general term for it. Your cloak is one of the rarest things in Rift. Like, they only drop less than 10 times in game from quest reward, and you generally don't find them anywhere else. They're not even in the auction house, and they're kind of rare, so nobody crafts them, I suppose, for some reason, and nobody sells them. So the one cape that I'm using right now is from a level 49 quest, which apparently is one of the best ones for now. So I'll stick with that. So if I want to stay with my staff, what do I have? Because staff and maces are wisdom stat weapons. Wow, horrible choice of staves in the auction house. They're all green. What about mace? Nada. One-hander, mace. Nada. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Let me just get rid of the 50 tag and let's just let it search everything. Okay, I see some 48s in there, but there really is no 50 stuff in here, I suppose so. But okay. Ranged. Let's look at my wands. Clerics do use wands, as do mages. Nothing up there too. So auction house isn't really gonna gear you up, I suppose. But yeah, I was kind of hoping maybe that should give an indicator of whether or not, you know, crafted gear at level 50 is going to play an important part or not. At the moment, I think more people would tell you to just go for dungeons. Just do what you got to do. Farm those dungeons, get those gear from the vendors, and then I guess gear in terms of equipment comes first when it comes to gearing up. So that you can do easily. Do your void stones grinding. through your daily quests, your in-game events or whatever, and then get those gear first. Once you have that gear, I suppose then you start running those dungeons and slowly start getting into experts, just upgrade everything, and hopefully you get better drops when it comes to weapons and accessories from dungeons. So I may have hit level 50 today, but I will try and get into, you know, one of these dungeons expert, just to try and see what's that like, I suppose, as a healer or whatever. It's not gonna be an easy process, obviously. There's a lot of work for me in terms of gearing, and yeah, that is the plan, y'all. That is the plan. So I am probably gonna call it here. I think I've showed as much as I could show, limited to my knowledge, my very limited knowledge of Rift, obviously being a new player, but I'm starting to grow into it. And hopefully now I get to go into my guild's Discord and talk about gearing up for endgame, and I'll see if we can put together a stream group for dungeons, so that could be interesting. But the problem again with that is that I'm in an Oceanic guild, so prime time for us is early morning for a lot of you folks in the West. And unfortunately it can't be live for you guys now, but oh well. So now that I'm 50, before I go, a couple of things that I just want to talk about. You know, the overall leveling experience in Rift Prime has been unique in a way, because most MMOs that I jump into, either they have been brand new, fresh off the market, or have been around for some time, or anything like that. But I've never done a fresh start progression server for a base MMO that I've never played beyond level 20. Or 30 or 26. So seeing a lot of these things for the first time in a different light from the live version, and then going to live and then seeing how different that was, and understanding why players stop playing live and what's in those cash shop on the live version as to opposed to what it is over here, it's a kind of an eye-opening experience. You know, it just goes to show that the simple things can make or break a game. Really, really simple things. And I'm still not done with the live version, because what Rift Prime has done is it's given new lives to the live version, I think, because there's a lot more players. I was on it yesterday, just mucking around on my Cleric there. I'm thinking about getting the Pugilist, which is a class available in live but not available here in Prime. So I thought about buying the Pugilist class and then taking it for a run and seeing how that differs from what's on here and stuff like that. But yeah, it's the live version seems to have been given a new lease of life because of the Prime server, and I'm not done with that yet, because for this Prime server review, I still need to look at live certain aspects, especially closer to the end game there, and I may have to use a workaround to get there because I'm kind of running out of time. Bless Online is coming out on Steam this month, as is the Elder Scrolls Online's DLC Somerset, which I'm both committed to reviewing. So yeah, I've got a lot of work to do, and in addition to that, like I said earlier in the stream, there's 2 series that I want to come out. I want to put out for the channel. One is a community discussion, where, you know, most of the stuff you see on my channel is usually my opinion, all these objective looks at video games, and but at the same time the voice is only me. And when it comes to the content, you know, it's not about me. It shouldn't be about me. It's about these games and what they're doing, and the systems and the mechanics and the stories and the worlds, and I am just the messenger. So these community discussion videos are about the people who know the games better than I do, because most of the stuff that I do in my channel, I jump in from a new player perspective. That's me. That's the whole idea of me starting a channel. I am like that Instagram wanderlust person that goes around. People travel the world. I want to travel MMO worlds. That's me. And I'm always coming in from a new player perspective, because there's so many games out there I haven't played, and my mission is to play them all, of course. So with this new community discussion series, you know, these are the stories of the folks and the players who have played these MMOs longer than I have been in terms of jumping into it for a new player review. I want to talk to the people who've been there since the beginning, or been there for a long time, and get their thoughts and their opinions, because it will be such a great contrast to whatever mine is, having played for like a month or 2 months or whatever. So stay tuned to that. I'm in the process of reaching out to several different people. A lot of them will be people you don't know of or whatever, because the best voices are the ones that you don't hear often, either like content creator or whatever. I think it's just the players, you know, the unspoken people, the silent ones, I suppose. I know there's a term for it, but I can't really go up. But you'll also see content creators as well, because why not, right? Get the best of both worlds. So that's part of the channel plans for this month. So there's a lot of work that I have to, you know, to get to. As for Rift Prime, again, I want to say I'm not done with it. Even though the vlog, you know, the class balance rant, it was a rant, and my issue with that, as I said during this stream, I've addressed it. It may sound like I'm attacking the Prime community. I am not. I've got nothing against the community. It's just the community's beliefs on what classes work, or why it's popular, or what the expectations are. It's just because of the balance that Tryon has put forth. So it's down to Tryon to try and balance that. I've got nothing against the community. So I just want to put that out there. In terms of gearing for endgame and all that stuff, it's something I want to look into. Let's just see how long it takes to grind. If it's going to take me another month to really start getting to rates, I can't do it. I cannot afford it, because there's so many MMOs for me to jump into, and I'm running out of time for the next project, really, which is Bless. So we shall see. Anyway, check in chat before I go here. Faramir says, if you get to play on live, give it a try on Instant Adventure. I've been doing a lot of instant adventures, Faramir, believe it or not. I've been doing a lot of instant adventures. It's one of the first things that when I rolled a character on live on week number 4 or week number 3, it was one of the things in the tutorial, you know, oh, go check out instant adventures, and I've already done that, and I've gotten a few levels in IAs. So that is something I want to talk about in the final review, not necessarily here on stream. He's also said it's how everyone leveled there instead of doing quests. Absolutely. That's what I've been doing as well, leveling via instant adventures, in addition to the rested XP. So on Prime, as a patron, you only have the rested XP. On the live version, if you go back and watch vlog 3 or 4 or 3, where I talk about the differences, you have the rested XP. You can get vials of experience, and there's just so many boosts and buffs, and when you use all of them together, and you go do some of these instant adventures when your XP bar, your rested XP bar is pretty high, leveling on live is incredibly fast, and that's just the way it's become. I never played on live long enough to understand some of these changes, why it was, how did it get there. So I'm hoping this the upcoming series I was talking about is going to be a good window into that. So, but yeah, nice of you to bring that up, Firmer, because Instant Adventures is something that live version has that maybe Prime could use. Because if I'm being really honest and looking at it from a neutral's point of view, when you take away the end game in Rift, which is raiding and the expert dungeon, you take that away, and you take away the Rift, the landscape meta organic events, and you try and look at that in terms of what it offers landscape players, or what it offers to solo, the casual players, is not a lot. The questing can feel boring and repetitive if that is not your preferred method of leveling. And having jumped into so many MMOs now, you know, there are people who tell me, I like grinding mobs 8 hours a day to level. That's how I like to do it. For me, when I hear that, I throw up in my mouth a little bit, because that would just kill me. I would die, you know, grinding mobs for that amount of time. But there's people with different playstyles, and for Rift, for a Western theme park MMORPG where questing and story and quest up crawls are things that people find repetitive, you know, because regardless of how a game or developer will try and mask their objectives, oh, we got a great story, but it's still, and you do see this a lot with Rift, because there's no diverse objectives. You're still going out and you're still killing 10 whatever, and then you're fetching stuff. That is the case here, and that's never going to change, not just for Rift, but for a lot of MMOs. So instant adventures could be the one piece of the puzzle that could break the questing monotony on Prime, because of how slow the XP is, and there's only 2 other things you could probably do if you don't want to quest: PvP, dungeons, and then the meta events whenever they appear. So instant adventures if the XP rewards are lower or whatever, I don't know how they would implement this, but if it ever comes to Prime, it would be a much needed boost, I suppose, in terms of adding replayability for those who are already at level 50, or for those, like I said, just jumping into Rift Prime after month number 3, when the player base is already at endgame and there's not a whole lot of people at the lower zones. Seeing empty zones is not a good thing. Doesn't matter how early your game launch or whatever. It's just the case, you know, there's a sense of isolation and everything. And as a new player, you're always feeling, oh shit, I have to rush to catch up. So instant adventures, and what I would like to see come with it is the buddy system. Is it called a buddy system? See, Rift lets you scale down, and it also lets you scale up on the live version. That's not on Prime yet. Prime doesn't let you scale up, it only lets you scale down. So on the live version, I can scale up and go play with a friend who's at 70, and that means I can jump into an instant adventure with players who are already 70, just doing it for currency or whatever, you know. So that means on Prime, there's a way for these new Prime players to start doing some content with the endgame crowd in a persistent mode. Why is there cheering? You guys hear that? There's cheering in the background. What's going on? It's like I said something about instant adventures and everybody just started clapping and applauding in agreement that Prime needs instant adventures. What the hell? Oh yeah, okay. Up there's a celebration. That's part of a quest. It's Scotty's graduation. Yeah, there we go. Scotty's graduation ceremony. If you finish the Scotty quest line in the Moonshade zone, then you get to see his graduation and everything. So there's some celebration going on there. Yeah, the timing couldn't have been great. Couldn't have been better. So that's my thoughts about instant adventures. So I will want to go and you know, level up on live as well. So I've got lots of plans. Don't worry. You will see some Rift content in the future. And really, that's it for me, guys. I think I've mumbled on. Hopefully, the stream was fun or informative. If you're looking for, oh, okay. Here's an interesting thought from Faramir. It says, "Interesting take on instant adventure. Everyone on Prime says instant adventure is a game-breaking feature and should never be implemented. How is it game-breaking, though? What is so wrong about instant adventure? That is it because it just totally negates the need to quest on live? Because as you say, it's super popular. Like for me, instant adventures is almost persistent because it always pops. There's always people doing it because it's a fast way to level. And on live, because look, the state of live is the state of live. We have Prime today because of the state of live. A lot of people will say, you know, it's a way for trying to fix their mistake. Prime is a result of a mistake. Or a regret on Prime or whatever. So that's an interesting point. It could be game breaking. I like the feature because of how it brings people together. I mean, Rift already does that with the zone events, but the more you look at it now, once you've gone and done everything in every zone, the novelty of, you know, being summoned to do the events, it's no longer a thing where, okay, we're doing it, you know, for XP or whatever. Now it's all about currency. We're doing it because we're already thinking ahead to the end game for dailies and stuff. So easy XP and no need to quest. Okay, we shall see. We shall see. For me, personally, my preferred method of leveling in any game is obviously to quest. Because questing, I've said this in so many of my reviews, questing is a window into the world, into the world, the story, the characters, and if these things don't resonate with you or with me as a player, I'm not attached to the world. I have no emotional or, you know, attachment to the world, and that's important for me. So that's why I like questing. So yeah, we shall see about instant adventures. I guess it's a good time to ask all of you people, especially in Europe, who are now sleeping, who are used to watching me live, and everybody else, what are your thoughts about instant adventures if you guys play on the live servers as well? Is it something you find game breaking, or is it something that you think Prime might need, or just your thoughts in general? Because this is a really interesting topic that I think needs to be explored further, and it will definitely help the review. So thanks, Faramir, for bringing that up. And with that, thanks everybody for hanging out this morning. Saying it sounds weird on stream. Just to recap, if you've just joined me, I'm sorry to say you missed the ding. I have leveled up to level 50. I thought I was gonna do it in PvP. I ended up doing it on a Landscape Carnage quest in a Defiant Control Zone. So that was interesting. But yeah, after that, it was all about checking out all these gear vendors and how to go about getting gear, and that's really what I'm probably going to get started on soon. But I'm also going to be working on the review now, especially for the leveling experience, and then I'll save the dungeon parts for the much later on. So everybody that jumped into chat, Dixa, Rico, Faramir, let's scroll up some more, Ekov, Wiggo's in there, Robert, Patrick, anybody else? Ought not earlier on, and scroll. Damn, yeah, chat went by pretty fast. I think I got everybody. Hopefully I'm not missing Valican earlier on. So yeah, all you guys, thank you guys so much for jumping in. Honestly, like for me, streaming in the morning for me, or in the Western time or prime time, whatever, is always an odd one because I don't know who will show up. I just know that I have been neglecting this particular time zone for the longest time because it is not ideal for me to stream now. I usually work now, but my work today starts later on, so hopefully you'll enjoy this when you watch it. I mean, I'm finally level 50. It's taken me a month or so, but you know, it's been a great fun process. So thank you everybody for jumping in, and I will see you very soon. I'm just thinking if I'm going to stream this weekend for Rift or not. Maybe if I can get a group to run a dungeon at my time, because for Aussies, for my guild, when I start streaming, it's almost close to midnight, so I don't know if anybody would be awake to do dungeons or not. So I may just forego Sunday stream and just come out with a different video instead, or stream another game or something. We'll see. So that's it for me. Wigga says good night-ish. I'm not gonna bed, Wigga. I'm gonna work. But you have a good night, and I'll see you soon. So that's it for me, guys. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you like the stream or stuff. Or if you're new here, I mean, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Because while I'm covering Rift now, what I usually do is I spend a month in an MMO I've never played before, and at the end of the month, or at the end of my leveling process, I will review the game from a new player perspective. There's some examples on my YouTube channel already, which you can go check out. And if you like what you see, yeah, feel free to subscribe. Subscribe! Damn it! I need more coffee. I've only had 1 cup of coffee. I usually have 3 in the morning, but since I'm streaming, I haven't gotten my ass up to go make some more. But yeah, feel free to subscribe to the channel, and I will obviously appreciate the support. I think I'm really close to 7,000 now. I don't know. Last I checked, it said, because for YouTube, for me, it gives me like a tooltip, like 6.99k. So I don't know how close I am to 7k subs, but yeah, I'm super close. So, that'll be cool. Anyway, that's it for me, guys. Once again, Joram Adrian here, thanking you for watching. Good night, all of you folks in the States, and those of you in Europe, you guys should already be asleep. And those of you in Aussie and my part of the world, yeah, it's lunchtime. Let's go eat. Laters.